quarterback. Yeah, starting quarterback. Keaton slow. Keaton.
Mindset for sure is, they hold the belt. Atlantic Division champs. They are the team to beat. And if you want to take it from them, it's going through Winston-Salem.
Saturday's slate kicks off with a clash of the undefeateds when Clemson travels to take on Wake Forest. KJ seems to think the Tigers are underdogs. We'll tell you who's going to leave with their perfect record intact.
You start thinking about Duke, North Carolina, Syracuse, Indiana, Kentucky, Kansas, UCLA. I mean, that's as blue blood as it could possibly get when it comes to.
Whoa. We're not talking basketball quite yet. But is K-ville on the verge of being renamed Elko Alley with Duke rolling on the gridiron?
We're not going to be better than Notre Dame's defense. It's going to be an even, tough fight throughout the day. And I want to see our guys fight.
After a week off, the Heels welcome in a national brand in the Irish. Can Drake May lead North Carolina to their first 4-0 start since 1997?
I want to see us better today than what we were yesterday, so that come Saturday night and each opportunity that's ahead is that we can put on display who we are and our absolute best.
We cap off the night with our primetime matchup between Boston College and Florida State. Can the Noles prove they're here to stay? Or will the Eagles pull off an upset? The ACC Huddle starts now. A look at the Pitt Panthers as they get set an hour away from kickoff as they host Rhode Island. Coach Narduzzi starred there as a linebacker for Rhode Island for 3 years. Met his wife there, got his degree. It means a whole lot to him. But they are enemies today. The Huddle will take you right up to kickoff in that one at Acrisure Stadium. But it's all about the Noles right now, those undefeated Seminoles. Florida State 3-0, and they host Boston College tonight, and we are here for it all. The sun is shining down here in Tallahassee, Florida. Look at the unconquered statue, Chief Osceola and Renegade, and, of course, Dope Campbell. Girl, you look good. 79,560. They're expecting a sellout crowd. Every seat in this place will have a butt in it. First sellout in 7 years. And we are in the building. Coach Mark Richt took a lot of pictures of him walking around town the last few days for people. Legend in his own right, of course, E.J. Manuel. At the time, only 2 quarterbacks in the history of college football won 4 bowl games. You did that here at Florida State. Excited to have you back home, obviously. Took a whole lot of pictures of him as well. Eddie Royal, we ain't Blacksburg anymore, man. You just blended in, and I'm your host, Jordan Cornette here. So, guys, how's it feel to be back in a place that means so much to you?
Man, walking through the tunnel and just seeing the field gave me the goosebumps. It's been over 20 years for me, but 15 years here with Bobby Bowden was a huge blessing for me.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I'm looking at the stairs here in the stadium. I remember running these at 6:05 in the morning. You know what I mean? Right before going to class at 8. So a lot of great memories.
Was that for discipline?
He got in trouble. That was for the grind. That was for the grind. That was for the grind. That was an early morning workout guy.
We use that to discipline, boys.
Yeah, that was for the
Tell
grind.
on himself.
Sorry.
It's been fun, though, for us to be here and see it. I mean, you guys sharing your memories.
By the way, it's 85 rows up, I could tell you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's a special place. You can tell. Speaking of special, our boy Eric McLean, you're probably wondering where he's at today. He's got more important things to be doing right now because he welcomed a beautiful baby girl into this world just a couple sleeps ago. You are looking at a beauty. That is Amelia Rose McLean. Look at E. Look at Daddy right there.
2 hands on the ball, E. 2 hands on the ball, big dog.
Lucky for the picture, you can tell she looks like his beautiful wife, Khaki, who's doing well.
Right.
That's most important.
Hey, do you think it'll help straighten this guy out?
Hey, I think it'll be a little bit kinder and softer to all of us moving forward. But I do want to extend a congratulations to Khaki, to Aaron, to the Smith family, and the McLean family. That's the first grandchild for the Smith family.
Awesome.
Adding another to the McLean family. So very happy for them. Our thoughts are with you. We'll try to do a good show. You guys will have more of an opportunity to talk today without Eric McLean. All right, so they'll be hoping for Clemson to remain undefeated, that McLean family and Smith family. And speaking of undefeateds, 7 conference teams undefeated in the ACC, tied with the Big Ten for the most of any Power 5. The SEC has 6, Pac-12 and Big 12 both have 5. Coach, what do you make of this start, which is historic, mind you, at this point in the season, for the ACC to have 7 teams without a blemish?
Well, I think it's great. And, how are conferences ranked? I mean, how are they judged? By their rankings, by their head-to-head with other conferences, by the bowl games. So we're always being judged, and the ACC, like it or not, hasn't had the best perception lately. And maybe this year we could turn that thing around.
It's excellent. You look at the way they've done it, too. It's not just like these have all been blowout games. Florida State being in 2 close games versus Louisville, found a way to win early in the season at LSU. Then UNC on the road at App State. They win theirs. Syracuse been in 2 close games against UVA last night and then again against Purdue. So it's not so much the teams actually being undefeated. I also think the way that they've been undefeated is excellent and impressive to me.
Amen to that.
I love it. Just the ACC needs some respect. All we ever hear about is the SEC and the Big Ten. Like, finally we got some teams that can really compete and play. And Syracuse is my surprising team. Like, I was going to say Florida State because I didn't expect that. Yeah. But I'll show them a little bit more respect. But Syracuse has looked great, and I've been really proud of what they've been able to do.
They've won in a bunch of different ways. And I think that speaks to the culture they're building. They're reestablishing, if you will, because obviously Dino has won there. But that was a game when it goes that way for Syracuse last night. You almost thought, okay, Virginia takes care of this. Syracuse found a way. We'll show you that highlight a little bit later on. But for now, let's live in the moment. Let's live in the present. Let's get to the Saturday slate. EJ, kickstart us.
Big game for the Duke Blue Devils, guys. They take on Kansas in Lawrence. Who's going to be the first loser here? Duke is going for their first 4-0 start since 2018. Now, the Jayhawks of Kansas are going for a perfect start for the first time since 2009. 2 teams with 2 similarities. Both feature excellent quarterbacks, and Leonard and Daniels, both defenses, have been stout, creating points off of turnovers.
All right, we got Rhode Island and Pitt. Rhode Island travels to Pitt to take on the number 24 ranked Pittsburgh Panthers here on ACC Network at noon. Pittsburgh welcomes back their starting quarterback, Keaton Slovis, as they try to keep this running game going, led by ACC leading rusher Israel Abanikanda.
And Keaton Slovis being back in that one, big time to have QB1 back for the Panthers to get them going against an FCS opponent where Pitt is 20-1 in such matchups.
All right, we got Miami. They're going to host Middle Tennessee at 3:30 on the ACC Network. Boys, I got to go to Texas A&M and watch Miami last week in person. The defense was stout, but offensively they got to throw and catch better if they're going to make a run at the ACC title.
Well, fellas, the reason we are all here, Boston College, here at home at Florida State. Now, BC will attempt to play spoilers in Doak Campbell Stadium. The Seminoles have found ways to win, most recently on the road versus Louisville last week, without QB1 the entire time. Backup quarterback Tate Rodemaker came in. But let's expect a big day from Johnny Wilson, the 6'7 receiver in prime time.
All right, we got a big one coming up here, especially for my man to the right. We got Notre Dame as they travel into Chapel Hill to face Carolina as Marcus Freeman tries to slow down this high-paced, high-flying offense. As Drake May welcomes back Josh Downs and Antoine Green, helping out that receiving core, a 3:30 matchup on ABC.
Is the day. The Demon Deacons finally bested the Clemson Tigers. Dabo 13-0 versus Wake Forest, but the Deacs 1-64 all time versus AP top 10 teams. This is a sublime opportunity presented to Coach Clausen in just under an hour on ABC. Amelia Rose now invested. Welcome to the world. Wake enters the day with a streak they hope to snap. The Deacs have lost 62 straight against AP top 10 teams. That's the longest streak of any in the AP poll era. They only have one top 10 win, and it came in 1946 when the unranked Deacs beat number 4 Tennessee in Knoxville. Here's Molly McGrath with more.
Well, Jordan, Wake Forest has lost 13 straight games to the Clemson Tigers, and Demon Deacon players tell us they're determined to break that losing streak today. Head coach Dave Clausen said this is his most talented and experienced team, and this is their best chance to unseat the team he calls the measuring stick in the ACC. Clausen stressed that their offense needs to get off to a fast start, create some explosive plays in the passing game, and be really aggressive early on. He said Clemson's defensive line cannot wreck the game for us, which will be a tall task as Clemson's star defensive tackles Tyler Davis and Brian Brzee both return for today's game. Jordan?
Thank you, Molly, and it's without question with a heavy heart Brian Brzee returns. Just what a difficult time it is for him and his family, having lost his sister Ella in her fight with cancer. She lives on in his memory, and she's touched a lot of different people. But for now, he's going to try and seek some normalcy, get back to the field, and be that game wrecker that he is. Hugging family as they're 55 minutes away from kickoff in a big-time matchup that has heavy Atlantic implications. As we shift this back to the field, and about Wake Forest, a tall task. We know their struggles versus top 10 teams. They'll be doing it without some notable players in that secondary. Take a look at Carson Harrison Davis, guys who played a lot of snaps for an already vulnerable defense. The task for the Deacs becomes that much more tougher. So let's talk about this matchup. And EJ, when you look at these Deacs, you've seen the opportunities come and they've gone with losses. And Sam Hartman hasn't necessarily shined. So is that offense. You've seen the struggles. How important is a win today for Wake Forest?
It's everything. A win today for Wake Forest will give them the advantage moving on in the Atlantic. At the end of the day, you know you have to beat Clemson if you want to get back to that ACC or Atlantic side of the ACC championship. So a win potentially is everything. And beside the monkey on their back as far as a losing streak, I feel like that's a distraction. A lot of times we bring up records 13, 30, 40 years ago. The players don't think about that. Go out there and handle it today.
Did you not think about any of that stuff?
Absolutely.
If there
not.
was such a streak,
Absolutely
there wasn't.
not.
But
it felt good after the game if you broke the streak in a good way, not a bad way.
Yeah.
But it felt good after the game. But before the game, I can't think about what they did 20 years ago. I wasn't there.
The thing about this game is the loser of this game has to rely on the other team to lose twice.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what happened last year for Wake. They lose to Clemson, but Clemson lost twice, which gave them a shot to play in the championship game. But anytime you lose that head-to-head in your division, you know that the team's got to lose twice, and that puts a lot of pressure on you.
It's just almost, you talk about the monkey off your back, winning a big game, right? Wake has to win that big game. They haven't been able to do that. So beating a team like Clemson with the aura around Clemson, it'd be big just for their confidence as well.
Yeah, keep in mind, this is the Atlantic Division champ. So Clemson's actually coming into Wake Forest with a chip on their shoulder. KJ Henry was saying, hey, if you want to win the Atlantic, it goes through Winston-Salem. These guys are the champs. So it's kind of scary to think, but Clemson's coming in here with that mentality of let's put on a hard hat. We have something to prove. This one's going to be a whole lot of fun. Speaking of fun, the show has a whole lot of fun in front of it because coming up, we have Florida State head man Coach Mike Norvell joins us after the break. And then Syracuse, fresh off that win last night, wide receiver Aronde Gadsden joins the show right after. Later on, Andrea Adelson will give us a report from Duke, Kansas, and a big one in Winston-Salem at the top of the hour. Roddy Jones will have our big game breakdown from Clemson and Wake as well. Take a quick break. When we return, despite 4 turnovers from a Q's team that entered last night with none, managed to win the ball game. We've got your highlight reaction, and of course we hear from Aronde as well. I had a video on my Instagram of them painting the field up close and personal. They're making Bobby Bowden Field here at Doak Campbell look beautiful for the sellout crowd. More coming up.
And no, when you speak, I can only hear you. Yes, I can hear them talking on the show. Yeah. All right.
Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3, check. Check. How is the Wi-Fi connection? I'm talking to you. It. Okay, so just my phone is bad. Okay. It was connected to that same Wi-Fi. That's why I don't know why it wasn't working.
Welcome back into the ACC Huddle live here in Tallahassee, and the weekend has already felt like a party. You remember Florida-Georgia line, one part of it, Brian Kelly, he's gone solo, and he had this place rocking at the block party last night. I mentioned it's been a party because the Noles are 3-0. It hasn't been easy, but here we are.
It's only about us! That's it!
People haven't seen our full potential. We're going to make a lot of noise, and a lot of people are going to really see what this team is about.
You give everything that you have with unbelievable effort and unbelievable focus.
We see the plan starting to come together, the mindset, the approach, the work, the chemistry of the team. Everybody knows what Coach Norvell wants.
We came from an 0-4 start last year. Everybody that been here before, we made that vow that we can't do that again.
Florida State wins the opener by 40 against Duquesne, and 2022 is off to a blistering start for Mike Norvell and company.
Everybody knew it wasn't just going to be turn around and go. We know we had to create that foundation, and that LSU game really let us know that it's time to play ball.
Wilson comes up with that. Here they go, Jenkins Strategy to send us to overtime. It's blocked! It is blocked! It is blocked!
This team is starting to know how to feel the win. They starting to get the chemistry and starting to play together as a team.
When it comes to that heart, right, that's where your true identity is.
Travis wants it all. Back corner of the end zone. Touchdown!
Travis is down. Oh, my goodness.
We went into halftime, our starting quarterback wasn't going to return, or one of our best defensive linemen wasn't going to return. And that's where we were in the moment. And our guys just, they really believed in each other.
Dudes go down, dudes come in, that's your opportunity. What are you going to do with it?
Rodemaker has a man. Johnny Wilson.
What a throw by the youngster.
Last year we lost close. This year, last 2 games we played, we won close.
High pass. Kevin Knowles with the interception.
Kevin Knowles sealing this game for Florida State.
We just continue to push off the mistakes, continue to get better.
I'm glad that we're 3-0, but we still have a lot of work to do.
We still haven't played our best game!
The future is bright in Tallahassee. There's no question about that.
The future is bright indeed, and we're so blessed to have Coach Mike Norvell join us ahead of the matchup tonight. Coach, 79,560 are going to be on hand. First sellout in 7 years is what we're being told. Knowing what it took to get here, to be undefeated in this moment, does this home environment that you're bracing yourself for feel different than any other home game day?
It's so exciting, and that's why you come to Florida State, because when the incredible fans that we have, this atmosphere we're gonna be able to experience tonight, all the things that have happened getting us to this point. I mean, this will be special tonight. Our guys are excited, had a great week of prep, but I mean, this is college football. This is why you come to Florida State, to be in this type of atmosphere.
It feels a little different.
Oh, it's gonna be a heck of a night.
Yeah.
We're excited to be able to go compete.
It's great.
Coach, it's been awesome to see the transformation of this team, because it wasn't pretty early for you. And then you just kept preaching the same message over and over and over again. What's been the most rewarding part for you these first few weeks?
Just seeing the application of the lessons. We believe, and everybody can say a great message. It can sound good, but you got to put in the work. You got to be willing to go make the investment, and that's what I've seen over the last couple of years through all the experiences. When times maybe didn't look, or didn't feel very good for us, we just continued to work, continued to pour into each other, and then you see the response. It hasn't been a perfect picture. Yes, this year we're 3-0. We've had to overcome adversity. We've had to go through some challenges. We've had to rise up in the moment. But their heart, their determinations, their belief in each other, that's what I think is truly, you showed up here this early part of the season, and we've got to continue to get better, and we've done a good job of that this week and got to go apply it tonight.
Coach, when you think about the mindset of your team, how has that changed from year one to now being in year three?
It's just confidence. You gain confidence through work. You gain confidence through experience. The experience, what we had to face last year is starting off 0-4. That's a real challenge. Even in that game, that game against Louisville last year, we're down 31-7 in the first half. But guys continue to chop away at it. They continue to pour into each other. And when you see what you can do, I tell our football team all the time, sometimes you have to go through it. You need to prove you can get through. Well, when you prove you can get through it and you can continue to grow, you can continue to see the response and the benefit of all of that work, that confidence grows. And we are a confident team. But it's not because we say that we are. It's because we work to put ourselves in a position to achieve that. And, we know there will be challenges tonight. There's challenges that are always going to show up. But we've been through a lot, and we believe we can overcome a lot.
Let me ask you about you and your schedule, because I know game day is so busy in so many ways for the head coach. And even to come on this stage right here with us takes effort and time. What does your day look like today?
Well, it was actually a mad dash leaving the walk. But we try to make sure that our guys, we're doing everything that we can to prepare, and preparation's key. Right. And so from this morning, our meetings, from our breakfast this morning to our meetings to our walkthrough, just want to get the guys out and moving. It is a late kickoff, right. So guys are gonna have a little bit of downtime, but every moment is vital. And for me, I just try to go through the game plan, try to go through all situations that could occur, go through different scenarios that have happened. And then just enjoy it.
One last quick thing. When that field goal got blocked, the year you're watching it, how does it feel different than when it happened in the game?
It's just definitely a little less stressful right now. But it's special. We talk to our guys. Every opportunity you step on that field it's a chance for you to display the identity and the characteristics of it. We talk about one play.
That's right.
One play. Right? It might be good, might be bad before, but you go play that one play with everything you have, and that's what showed up in that moment.
Beautiful.
Coach, we know Jordan's going to be back in uniform. Any update on Jared Verse, Robert Scott, and even Jordan's health as he enters tonight?
We'll see where those guys are at as it progresses. Jordan, he will start tonight. He's going to play. He was limited a little bit at the first part of the week, and excited about him being able to for what he was able to do throughout the week and the work he's put in, and excited to see him playing tonight.
We're excited to be here, Coach. Thanks for having us. We appreciate the hospitality. Go get back to your routine, and best of luck tonight.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys having me on, and go Noles.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, from one Atlantic matchup to an Atlantic team that really showed last night, an exciting one. All eyes on them Friday night. It was Virginia. It was Syracuse in an intra-division matchup. And we picked this one up mid-third quarter. And it's this Virginia team looking to get on board. Keaton Thompson takes it in. Virginia cuts the lead to 16-7. And this is where it would get wacky on the ensuing kickoff. Eddie, what happens here? A heck of a shot when Treborn Pena catches the football.
Just a direct blow right there. That's a big hit right there. It's tough to hang on to that ball when you get hit like that. Amazing play by UVA, and big-time play in the game.
It translates into points as they would miss an extra point but score off the turnover. Virginia trails only 16-13 at that point. 6 minutes left in the game. Brennan Armstrong finds Lavelle Davis Jr. for the 4-yard touchdown, and it's Virginia with the lead, their first of the night, 2019. It would come down to this in the final minute. Andre Schmidt hits the 31-yard field goal. 'Cuse takes a 22-20 lead, ties the school record with 5 made field goals on the night. Last chance for Brennan Armstrong in the waning seconds. It's batted down by Eric Coley. 'Cuse win 22-20 and improve to 4-0 for the first time since 2018. Aronde Gadsden, they were wondering who a number 1 is for the Orange. They have clearly found one as he has showed himself to be the man these last few weeks. Look at the targets, look at the production, look at the yards. Look at that man, because he joins us now. Aronde Gadsden, we appreciate the time. Hey, bro, you should be smiling right now. You guys are 4-0. You should be happy. How do you feel about the Orange's performance to this point in the season, my friend?
I think we've been good up until this point, and I wasn't so excited versus Virginia with all the turnovers that we had, and I didn't think it should have been as close to the game as it was.
Bro, this was a big win for you guys, a night game. Take me into that locker room. Take me, if I was hanging out with you last night, what were we doing? How did you celebrate?
I was just celebrating with family after the game. My mom, my dad, my sister, and 2 of my friends had came up, so it was mostly just celebrating with them.
Aronde, when you get opportunities to make those big plays, you know, receivers always want to have that chance to make the big catch, especially when the game's in hand. I'm talking about last week. You had 2 huge plays, both turned into touchdowns, the game winner, and then that 4th or 3rd down conversion. What goes through your mind once you get to the line of scrimmage before those types of plays?
I just want to think that no one can guard me when I'm out there on the field. I just want the ball. I want to get open and get the ball. That's about it.
Aronde, tell me a little bit about your quarterback. What do you see in him that gives you guys confidence you could continue to win like you are?
Definitely, him being mobile is definitely a big part of the game, doing the scramble drill type of things, extending the play, that type of stuff. But Coach Beck and Coach Anai coming in definitely making him a better quarterback overall. I know he had 1449 last year. I think he's up to 986 right now, and it's only been 4 games, so it's definitely a big improvement from last year.
Aronde, we really appreciate the time, man. Best of luck in the future moving forward. It's been fun to watch the Oranges start. Stay healthy, my friend.
Thank you.
That's Aronde Gadsden of the Syracuse Orange. They've enjoyed a fun early start. Although Aronde, have him tell you he's not too impressed with the way they started off and where they're getting.
You're ready to play right now.
It's good. My man was focused. So the schedule to this point has been manageable, and Syracuse has taken advantage of the opportunities. But boy, oh boy, October 15th, it gets real. NC State at home at Death Valley. You host Notre Dame. You go to Pitt. You host Florida State. You're at Wake Forest. You finish with Boston College. They call that a gauntlet, my friend. You better bring your A game. You know who brings his A game? Mark Packer, the ACCPM crew. They are on campus here at Florida State. Taylor Tannenbaum, Trey Boston, Mark Packer. Take it away.
All right, boys, we appreciate that. Welcome to the ACC Huddle Fan Zone. The best part about being out here, suits are optional, and we decided not to go that way. But the good news is, if you're a Syracuse fan, 4-0, life is good for the Cuse.
Man, good for the Cuse. And, what I liked about the game is, hey, we've been wondering how clean can Syracuse keep it with turnovers. They had 4 of them. But to find a way to get out of that, 12 penalties, you find out who you are. That's coachable things that you can do. And now you set up yourself to, hey, we got to get better, guys. But at the end of the day, we can win ball games when things get tough.
The play was not perfect, but the record is what Dino Babers said after the game. And that is exactly a summation of exactly what happened last night. You mentioned the 4 turnovers. What impressed me the most was the way the defense played in adversity when the offense wasn't able to keep contain of the ball, okay? They came up with huge stops every single time you needed it. Garrett Williams, our guy Garrett Williams, we had him on a couple weeks ago. Big interception. Marlowe whacked with a huge sack, coming up big. The offense was able to lead them to a field goal late in that game, but the defense really stepping up, which is why when we looked at that schedule just a couple seconds ago with Jordan Cornette, it doesn't worry me as much because it looks like, to me, they have a complete team. Someone needs to step up when another unit isn't playing so well. And, hey, your kicker.
Well, I got news. I would worry about it because it's not Wagner or the open date, but, man, that is a murderous schedule after that with NC State, Clemson, Pitt, Notre Dame, and the whole routine. But, here's the deal. We've talked about the Atlantic Division. You have 5 teams that are undefeated. It is not going to be an easy path for anybody that wins this division. We've talked about this in the springtime. This division is legit. It's nasty, it's deep, it's talented. We'll get more news today, of course, with the Wake Forest-Clemson game and all these combinations of NC State and Syracuse and Wake and Clemson. I mean, this is going to be a fascinating race.
I mean, again, you're seeing these next 5 games that'll be the teetering of where this conference is going to go. Again, there's a lot of great teams, but we're wondering, a team like Syracuse, can you truly show over these next 4 to 5 weeks that you guys can be the 1 or 2 team, or be in contention for being a championship, ACC championship, at least coming from the Atlantic side type team? And we're going to see it. And again, that's why I say I like games like this one, because you're going to need to find out how deep can you take it, how far can you get your back against the wall, and truly know who you are when that time comes in these couple of weeks.
And the good news for Syracuse is, while that is a gauntlet of a schedule, they do have Wagner coming up next.
Yep.
Then they have a bye. So you get that reality check in the last 2 games against Purdue and against Virginia. And now you can check yourself against Wagner, see where you measure, have the bye week, and come out into that gauntlet. You're seeing the offense step up when they need to. The defense, the special teams was nearly perfect aside from the fumble, but you have an incredible kicker there in Andre Schmidt. It's good news knowing that you have all 3 of those phases that can work, just putting it together now moving forward over the next 2 weeks.
Syracuse is 4-0. The boys right here behind us are undefeated. And you know who else is undefeated? D-U-K-E, Duke. And this day, guess what? They're going to be in Lawrence, Kansas, and so is Andrea Adelson. She'll be live with a report. Undefeated Duke, undefeated Kansas. Should be a great one. Rock Chalk Jayhawk against the Blue Devils. And we got more from Tallahassee as well. Stay tuned, folks. It's game day in the ACC on the ACC Network.
Yes. And that's on the camera 3? Just me? Great.
This one?
Probably going to want to go that way, too, so you don't get caught. Yes, that's so much better.
What's the first thing we've got?
Okay. Forward?
How Duke flipped the script.
Yeah. Zito, we got any water? Bossy?
I think we changed it to Duke.
Just Duke?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it should just be.
I'm ready.
Yeah. Damn, I need to
I think we shifted.
Thank you. That's so much better.
Rundown, huh?
Yeah, the update.
Yeah, we changing it.
Andrea, Jordan Cornette, how are you?
Hey, Jordan. I'm great. How are you?
Thing that you gave me. It's good to see
What's
you.
wrong with it, bro?
Is it crooked?
It's too high, dog.
I wish I could say it was great to see you. I can't
there
see
you
you,
go.
but it's great to hear
I would
you.
take it a little lower, personally. Yeah.
Andrea, you should see the
Right
suit
there.
I have on. I almost look as nice as you do today. Almost.
Well, you probably look better because I'm drenched in sweat right now.
Oh, it's hot here, too. It's hot here, too.
Oh, I'm sure. I know that hot. I know that swampy hot.
Yeah, I was saying, you know this Florida heat.
Yes. How's this?
You know, I got a fan.
My
in
hair certainly looks like I'm in
office
Florida.
that's just like this. Blows on my legs.
ACC Huddle is brought to you by Xfinity. Unbeatable internet, made to do anything, so you can do anything.
Let's take a look at what else to watch for today in the ACC, presented by Xfinity. At noon, Louisville hosts South Florida in a battle of undefeateds in Lawrence, Kansas, between Duke and KU. Later, Georgia Tech is at UCF looking to pick up their first non-conference road win since 2016. And at 7:30, 12th-ranked Pack host UConn. And in case you didn't know, Duke QB Riley Leonard he could have played basketball at the collegiate level. He was a Class 7A state basketball player of the year and a two-time Coastal Alabama male athlete of the year for the Fairhope Pirates. Instead, he chose football, and the Blue Devils were rolling at 3-0. To talk more about these Blue Devils ahead of that matchup against Kansas, we welcome in Andrea Adelson. And Andrea, today's game in Lawrence sold out. What is the atmosphere like down there in Lawrence, Kansas?
Well, Jordan, I got here 3 hours before kickoff, and I still haven't put my bags in the press box because I've been talking to that many fans who are so excited about what's been happening with Kansas football. I went over to the students. They were lined up. One of them was there at 5:30 in the morning to make sure that he got his front row seat. He told me it's never been like this before. Any other game, I can just roll up at kickoff and get my front row seat. He wanted to make sure that he would be able to be there rooting on Kansas, and there were a bunch of students waiting there for him. Everyone that I've talked to, and I talked to 15, 20 people, said, we can't remember the last time it was this packed here at Kansas hours before kickoff.
Kansas brings an explosive offense, but lucky for the Blue Devils, they have a pretty good offense of their own, and it's on the back of their quarterback, Riley Leonard. Mike Elko confident coming in because of what he's seen from his quarterback. What has he seen, Andrea?
Well, if Duke is going to have a chance in this game, they're probably going to have to match Kansas score for score because we know what Kansas can do offensively. But when they were deciding who was going to start at quarterback at Duke, one of the things that stood out to Mike Elko was just the way Riley Leonard progressed. As he got more comfortable in the offense, the ball started to come out better. As the ball started to come out better, he became more accurate. As he became more accurate, they started to make more plays in the passing game. And when you have all of that working together, he told me, we felt like we could have a really good chance to be good. And that's what we're seeing out there out of Riley Leonard. He's cool, he's confident, he's poised. But Mike Elko also told me the challenge is going to get a lot harder starting today. So all the things they've seen with Riley Leonard in terms of the efficiency in the way that he's running this offense, can he do that now against a much more difficult opponent?
Andrea Adelson, we appreciate the time. A true pro, understanding it's always better in the shade in these temperatures. Enjoy the day in front of you.
See you, Jordan. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's talk about this turnaround for both these teams because it's been pretty incredible. During the 2021 seasons, Duke and Kansas ranked outside the top 100 in several categories. Duke lost 18 games and Kansas 19, and you see it there. Only 130 FBS teams over that span. Turn to this season. They are both undefeated, outscoring their opponents by more than 20 points a game and are in the top 10 in the country in yards per play. EJ, how has Duke been able to flip the script in this remarkable fashion?
Well, it starts with the athletes that they have. You know, Riley Leonard showing us the 360 between the leg dunks, all that kind of stuff from NBA Jam. But in all seriousness, this is a football team that has a different look. You look at Jalen Calhoun, the receivers that they have, the running backs that they have, the offensive line, the fact that they're now scoring points on defense, creating turnovers, pick sixes, forced fumbles, taking them back to the house with Dwayne Carter at D tackle. This is just a different-looking Duke football team, and I'm excited to see them play against another good team in Kansas.
You know, one thing Coach Cutcliffe didn't leave the cupboard bare. You mentioned talent. They recruited talent. They recruited character. And there was a quarterback named Riley Leonard, as you mentioned, already there. But you got to take those ingredients and make it go. I mean, the first quarter success that Duke's having is a great sign of preparation, a great sign of Coach Elko doing a great job of preparing his kids and having them ready to go. It's just a great sign to see them look as – it's one thing to be undefeated. It's another thing to really look good doing it, and they look good doing it.
Exactly. That defense is playing with a lot of confidence. Like you said, EJ, just looks like a different team. That doesn't look like Duke football to me. I'm watching a team, I'm like, man, that team's a winner. And so they're tackling better. They're not out of position. They're doing all the little things right. But to be honest with you, it starts with the quarterback. I mean, Riley Leonard's got this thing rolling. The last time Duke was really good, they had Daniel Jones at quarterback. So Riley Leonard is the guy, 72% completion percentage. So he's taking care of the ball, and he's running it pretty well.
I would also add, Coach Elko and his staff have done a great job, you know, just teaching the small things. There's little small things you notice in 2-minute drill where they're bringing the ball back to the referee instead of just leaving it on the ground. Those are things that you catch those extra seconds within a down to keep the ball going. So you can tell they're getting coached up really well, too.
Well, Duke, and it's always special and important to get off to a good start when you're on the road as they travel to Kansas to take on the Jayhawks. Duke has been getting off to fast starts as good as anybody in college football. They're outscoring the opponent in the first 3 games of the first quarter, 45-0. So expect them to put up points. Now, that fourth quarter, they're being outscored by a point. So that is also important. Can you continually do it through the game? We're going to go ahead and make a pick on this one right now. Eddie, or EJ, you get started here. Or excuse me, we're going to go with Eddie. Eddie, we're going to start this one. Who do you like?
I was ready to set it off.
Who's ready? Duke or Kansas?
Oh, man, I got to go against the ACC and go with Kansas, man. They just scoring too many points. And the wins that they've had, man, they beat Houston, they beat West Virginia, and they've shown that they can win that close game. So the high-scoring offense, I got to go with Kansas.
I'm going with Duke in this game. The defense, for me, is going to have to step up. Jalen Daniels, the quarterback for Kansas, is a lethal quarterback. He can pass it, he can run it. But I still think it's going to turn into a shootout that Duke can win.
I love what's going on with Elko and with Duke, but it's at Kansas. Kansas is scoring over 50 points, exactly what you said. And the teams they've beaten, West Virginia and Houston, those are two really excellent teams, and the style they did it, I got to go with Kansas.
Hey, look, I went against Duke last time, and Coach Elko and that group made me look bad. My pick doesn't count, but I think Duke gets this one done on the road here. I'm with EJ. Let's shift gears here now to the rival for Duke, and that's Drake May in North Carolina. And they're not taking on NC State this week. They're taking on Notre Dame, but the quarterback made news.
Yeah, 100%. I didn't want to miss out on the home state. Seeing Sam being a hometown kid too. Whether you want to admit it or not, growing up in Carolina, you're going to be a Carolina fan. And some people may say state, but really people go state just can't get into Carolina. So, at the end of the day, playing for Carolina's a lot of people from North Carolina want to do, so I didn't want to miss out on that.
Coach, what do you make of those comments from Drake May? Again, he's not even taking on NC State this week, and this is what we're talking about ahead of Notre Dame today.
I know. It's a distraction. So later on, he made an apology, right? So he either felt bad about what he said and wanted to apologize, or his coach said, hey, you need to make an apology, and he might not have liked to have to do that. But the bottom line is, we're talking about that instead of the game they're about to play. I don't think it's a good thing.
It's not a good thing, one, because you're putting a target on your back that you're already going to have anyways. You're the quarterback at Carolina, NC State, the team, the fans, Coach Dave Doran, they don't like him, right? But now you made it even worse. But at the end of the day, I like the confidence. You know what I mean? There's some banter, and I think it's good it's good for the sport. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's football, man. Go out there and play games and talk trash to guys.
Got to be able to take a joke, right?
It's all good.
And remember when Tyler Van Dyke did it? We were all like, oh, what is he doing? Then he went out there and lit it up. I'm like, hey, if you can back it up, then cool. And I'm like, man, it's entertainment. It's football. That was entertaining to us. Let the kid live.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, if you're a Pac fan, they live for that kind of stuff. I had a brother that played basketball at Butler, and that program thrived with the chip on their shoulder. They want to be made the underdog. They want to be disrespected. Drake May gave the Pac in that locker room a reason to feel like, hey, we're one of those teams expected to go out and win, but this is what they think of us. That's going to fuel them. That matchup's going to be a whole lot of fun. They're not going to receive Drake very kindly in that matchup. But that's what it's about. They need that energy. Yeah. And Drake's been fun to watch. He might be even more fun to watch now because Josh Downs returning for that Tar Heels offense that is already potent. He tweeted out saying on Twitter, I'm back for more. If this guy's going to bring the production we expect him to, watch out for Carolina. Eddie, what does this mean for that Tar Heels offense?
It means an explosive player comes back, but it could also mean a little bit of trouble because in that situation, you want to get Josh the ball. He's clearly the number one, the big play threat. So you just want to make sure he gets it in the sync of the offense, that you don't throw everything else off.
Yeah, I agree. When you have a key player like that go out for a few weeks, other guys, Kobe Paysor, Blackwell, they come up and start making plays too. Mm-hmm. And now he's back in the lineup. You want to feed him. You want to naturally make sure he's feeling good about himself as a player. So hopefully they don't get into that match of just trying to call plays for Josh Downs. But at the end of the day, this is a defense for Notre Dame that struggled in the secondary. We've seen Marshall light him up. So this should be a good day for the Tar Heels.
I know stats are kind of hard to look at early in the season, depending on who you play early. But let's look at it. For North Carolina, 310 yards a game passing, averaging 237 yards rushing, over almost 550 yards a game, and over 50 points. It's been amazing what they've done. It's going to be a great challenge for Notre Dame.
Yeah, it's very explosive. But if you're looking at the weaknesses, that's kind of where the story will be told in this game because, look, when you look at the Irish and their offense, it ranks 58th amongst 65 Power 5 schools in points per drive, whereas the Heels defense is worse, ranking 64th. Only Colorado has a worse defense in P5 than the Tar Heels do. Something's got to give in this matchup. Eddie, as you look at it, which of those struggling sides breaks through today?
it's got to be the North Carolina defense. They have the players. That's the thing. We talk about the 4- and 5-star guys that they got. The talent is there. They had a week off, so hopefully they did some soul searching and they could put this thing together.
Yeah, well, Notre Dame is a team that's looking for success at this point. You know, everybody's sky was falling in South Bend. Jordan, you were crying. Like, there was all kind of stuff going on, man. I was like, oh, I got to take care of my guy. But, look, this is a game where Notre Dame can now get back in the saddle. They're on the road. All odds are against them. They have nothing to lose, truly.
Right.
So you just throw everything at North Carolina and see how they come out.
Well, Gene Chizik didn't forget how to coach defense. He might have forgot for a little bit, but
yeah, he was snoozing them for a little bit. They got to tighten up.
He's woken up and figured out how to get it done. I think they'll improve greatly.
Coach, this man's a damn lie. I wasn't crying. I wasn't invested.
I saw some tears welling up in there, fella. I saw some.
All right, let's go ahead and make a pick of this one. Eddie, who do you like, my Irish or you like the Tar Heels and Drake May?
Tar Heels, that offense is going to be too explosive. Notre Dame can't score with them. I had the Tar Heels.
Yeah, I'm going Tar Heels, too. That home field advantage. We've been to a bunch of games in Chapel Hill. The crowd's going to be there. There's going to be a lot of sky blue. With Tar Heel blue, I want to make sure I say that right. Carolina's going to win this game.
Tar Heels scoring 50 points a game. Notre Dame scoring 16 points a game. Yeah. I think that'll be the story. North Carolina wins it.
Yeah, well, friends like you guys, who needs enemies? I actually agree with you. I think the Tar Heels are going to roll in this one. 2-20 all time against the Irish. I think they earned their third win here, and Drake May has a big-time day. Another quarterback looking to have a big-time day. That's DJ Uiagalelei, and they're going to need him, that Clemson offense, as it goes on the road to Winston-Salem in a ranked matchup of Atlantic foes. Clemson on the road against the reigning Atlantic Division champion. And DJ Uiagalelei has looked mighty accurate this season. He's going to look to deliver a beautiful ball around the field as Clemson looks to continue their dominance against the Demon Deacs. I'll tell you what, EJ talks about this place. Coach Rick does, too, from their glory days. And it hasn't disappointed. Bobby Bowden Field getting right. Doak Campbell Stadium, a sellout crowd for the first time in 7 years. Whole lot of fun the ACC Huddle's having here.
Tell you who's nailed it, Sam Hartman and company.
Anytime you get the opportunity to play somebody like Clemson, obviously there's going to be excitement, but we're focusing on us, and we're looking forward to playing our game and going out there on Saturday and executing at a high level.
Good teams win at home, great teams win on the road. That matchup for us, we've been able to disrupt them a little bit.
Sam Hartman, the Wake Forest quarterback, and he's going to be sacked back inside the 20.
That's a lot easier said than done.
The ones where you're playing against tough teams, that's when everything shows.
We can go in there, get the job done, and we're still in control of our own destiny, which is the goal.
You look forward to these games. So I think it's really cool that Wake Forest University at Truist Field is hosting a game of this magnitude.
Dabo and the Tigers not intimidated being on the road. 36 true road wins, tied for the most over the last 10 seasons. Here's Roddy Jones with the big game breakdown.
We head to Winston-Salem for this week's big game breakdown between Clemson and Wake Forest. Clemson has won 13 straight versus Wake, a streak dating back to 2009. Since 2014, when Dave Clawson took over at Wake Forest, Clemson has lived in their backfield, sacking Wake's quarterbacks 36 times, the most sacks by any team versus a single opponent over that span. A big reason for that success is Clemson's blitz, which led to 8 sacks in last year's matchup. The Tigers have blitzed their opponent the 10th most of any FBS team since the start of last season, but over the same span, Sam Hartman has feasted against the blitz, completing more passes for more yards than any FBS player. For Clemson's offense, they've had success running it up the middle, something that Wake Forest's defense struggles to defend. Since the start of last season, the Tigers led the ACC in rushing yards and touchdowns up the middle, while Wake is second to last and in the bottom half of the league in those defensive categories. Will Clemson win their 14th straight over Wake, or will the Deacs get their first top 10 win in more than 75 years?
Roddy Jones, we appreciate you. Now it's time for Food Lion, Food for Thought. Since Coach Clawson took over at Wake, they struggled with Clemson, losing all 8 matchups and scoring just over 13 points per game. Against every other team, they have a winning record and scoring more than 30 points a game. So, Coach, this Clemson defense has clearly dominated the Deacs offense. Why is that?
Part of it is scheme, part of it is talent. When you look at what they're going to do defensively, they're going to cover all 5 of the offensive linemen. It causes single blocks across the board. In this picture, you can see 5 down linemen for 5 offensive linemen, and then they add the 6th guy with the 5-man protection. The right tackle is in a dilemma. He's got a double read between these two, block the inside guy, turn the wide guy free. That's Skalski. If that ever happens, the quarterback has got to have a plan to throw hot. They didn't have a plan. So scheme-wise, they got him. Then they're going 5 down again. It's a 5 call by the offensive lineman. All right, and then the back is in a 6-man protection. He's got to block one of these two. The man on the right drops out, and the guy on the left comes through, and the back picks him up. So they got a hat for every hat, but now they got a little loop going on. A 3-man game where 2 linemen are going to the one direction, and the other guy's looping around, coming clean. Trent puts him down because of the scheme that they have and the talent. Then the last one here, we got another 5 call. We got 5 people working, and now we got a horn play, which is a 4-man game where 3 of the linemen are coming inside. One's looping all the way around. They keep the back in there to help. Add some fundamentals there. You got Miles Murphy stripping the arm and Skalski ready on the spot. Hey, you got space. You don't jump on the ball. You get down and you scoop it up. You spork it, and you get up and you go. Great job by Clemson's defense. Just 2 good scheme-wise and 2 good talent-wise.
Nothing makes Coach happier than a guy recovering a fumble very cleanly. You love to see it. Miles Murphy, dude's a stud. He's already registered a sack at 2 TFLs this season. He's going to be looking to get home and eat early and often, just 14 minutes away from kickoff on ABC, a ranked matchup of Atlantic foes. So Coach laid it out. The pressure's going to be coming, and it typically does when Clemson faces that mesh offense. But, Eddie, Wake's going to have to run the football. Are they going to be able to? And if not, can they win without the run game?
No, they won't be able to run the ball. I mean, you saw that defensive line. It's the best in the ACC. Yeah. They got big boys up front. They're just overmatched. That Wake offensive line is overmatched. And the games are won in the trenches. So the big boys, they got to do their thing, and I don't think Wake's got the guys to do that. So, no, they can't win, and it's going to be a tough day for Wake.
Well, can they win without the run? No, because I think it's going to add balance. It's going to take pressure off of Sam Hartman. It's going to create those throwing lanes when you talk about the play-action pass game. And a lot of their pass game vertically is based off the play-action pass.
No doubt.
So in order to get the backers and in order to get the safeties to cheat up and try to come up and get a tackle on a running back, you have to run the ball effectively. So it'll be hard if they can't run the ball today against
If
Clemson.
they can't run the ball, they've got to have great special teams. They've got to have turnovers. They've got to have a heroic effort by Hartman. And it's possible without the run, but with the run, they got a chance to do what they like to do best. Yeah.
And, Coach, what I saw on that take, the second play, Clemson D-line is smart. Like, it was a game, but the D-lineman grabbed the guard.
So it's a pick play.
So he couldn't slide off and block the guy.
I don't know if you noticed, when it's a 2-man game, it's a twist. And then the center was bumping back to get him, but it went to a 3rd level, and he got totally bumped off, which cleared the lane for Trent to get in there and make the sack.
I'm about to ask you guys right now who's going to win this game. I'm going to ask for your pick, but keep in mind, as I do ask you that, Wake has not led over Clemson in a game, since 2014. With that being said, Eddie, who are you picking in this one?
Clemson. And it's not even because of the defense. I just believe Wake can't stop Clemson from running the ball. Last year, Clemson had 2 guys over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, 2 different guys. So that's going to be a challenge for Wake. Can you stop the run of Clemson?
Yeah, I'm going Clemson as well. The Clemson defensive line is probably top 3 in the country as far as creating pressure, as far as stopping the run. It's not just a matter of these guys can go out and get sacks. They can also stop the running back as well. So I think Clemson wins the dominant.
I was thinking you were going to take Wake there for a second, baby.
He was close.
I'll say this. I love what Coach Clausen's done. They talk about winning the big game. You got to win a bunch of games to get to the big game, and what they've done there has been amazing. But I've seen too much of the tape of Clemson's defense and too much history to pick Wake, so I'm going Clemson as well.
Yeah, look, it's going to be interesting. This is a Wake Forest team at home, and yet they're a touchdown underdog in this game. So there's a reason for them to say, hey, we're getting no respect. But again, when you're 1-64 all time against AP top 10s, you got to prove it to go ahead and earn it. And that opportunity presented today for the Demon Deacons. We're going to take a break, get some more picks to you as we get closer to kickoff. 9 minutes away there at Acrisure Stadium. Coach Narduzzi taking on his alma mater in Rhode Island. Played there as a linebacker for 3 years. Now he's the head coach for the reigning ACC champion Panthers. Keaton Slovis back in uniform, starting at quarterback for them. Putting the final touches on this place here at Doak Campbell. A look at Bobby Bowden Field. That's the ACC logo. Home to 7 undefeated teams here in Week 4. We got more on the other side. Welcome back into the ACC Huddle. A reminder, join us tonight for the ACC Huddle. We're live in Tallahassee after Florida State and Boston College. We'll catch up on all the action around the conference. Eddie Royal filling in beautifully for Erica McLean and the rest of our usual characters. We're getting you close to kickoff as Pitt plays host to Rhode Island. They've got their quarterback, Keaton Slovis, back. We're 5.5 minutes away from kickoff at Acrisure Stadium. on the call for this one. Taylor Davis, part of that broadcasting crew. She's got more.
Well, Jordan, a strength of this Pitt team heading into season was the depth, and it's certainly been tested in these first few weeks. Injuries have plagued both sides of the ball, and they will be without some key starters again today. Defensively, they will be down 3 starters along the front, and offensively, center Owen Drexel and wide receiver Jared Wayne, who sustained a big hit last week, are not expected to go. Now, keep in mind, this team begins an 8-game stretch of conference play next week, so coach is telling us they will be precautious about playing time. But we do expect the return of quarterback Keaton Slovis, who is eager to get back out here today. Head coach Pat Narduzzi gearing up to face his alma mater, Rhode Island. Wes Durham, Roddy Jones, and myself will have you covered on the action.
Well, Pitt quarterback Keaton Slovis is back in the saddle, guys. He missed last game. But, look, the key in the game for this quarterback is going to be getting the offensive cohesiveness back. After this game, 8 conference games ahead, need to be firing on all cylinders. And Keaton Slovis has been sacked multiple times in each of his 2 starts. So we want to see him up and clean in this matchup.
We're going to take a good look here at Israel Abanikanda, the running back. He's a wonderful runner. He's got 64 attempts this year, over 300 yards rushing, over 100 yards a game. 4.7 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns, and he's a heck of a kick return man as well. He's averaging about 19 yards a kick so far, so we'll see a lot of Israel today.
And now we got Jared Wayne. He's going to be missing today, sideline with an injury. He's their leading receiver and the leader in that locker room as far as the receivers go. Gavin Bartholomew is going to have to step up today, as well as Mumpfield.
Well, you got to imagine when you're all together 20-1 all-time versus FCS opponents, it's not so much about going out there and winning the game. You're expected to do that. It's probably about how you look and staying healthy, I imagine. Fair to say, Coach?
No question. I'm looking forward to Coach Narduzzi and the boys getting after it.
Yeah, they're going to be getting after it. We'll be here for halftime for reaction from that. But for right now, you guys are going to show us some more sights around here as we watch some football here in Tallahassee. Enjoy your first half. Wes Durham, Roddy Jones, Taylor Davis, take it away.
We welcome you to ACC Network Football presented by Subway. Game 1 of our triple header on this first Saturday of the fall comes to you from Pittsburgh. Pat Narduzzi and the Panthers are back. A 3-touchdown win last Saturday night at Western Michigan. And the Panthers, number 24 in the country, host Narduzzi's alma mater, the Rhode Island Rams, for the first time. And we welcome you upstairs here at Acrisure Stadium. Great to be with Roddy Jones, Taylor Davis in just a moment. Well, Pittsburgh is 2-1. This is kind of the final tune-up before conference play begins here next Saturday against Georgia Tech. A lot of things are going right, still need some polish, and they got QB1 back on the order.
Yeah, which will help the polish on that offense. It's an offense that's really shown 3 different personalities over the course of this early season, but it's almost like a reintroduction for Keaton Slovis as well. After playing a game and a half, he comes back into the lineup. He's a very accurate passer, a guy that's the former Pac-12 Rookie of the Year on offense, first-team All-Pac-12 when he was at USC. So the character of this offense with Keaton Slovis, with his accuracy and him being back, is what I'm really interested to see today.
Well, one guy they do have back, and he's doing a great job for Narduzzi's offense, and new coordinator Frank Cignetti is the best running back in the ACC, Izzy Abanikanda.
Yeah, those big words coming from you. Some people in Clemson there might be a little upset, but Israel Abanikanda has been absolutely fantastic. He's a big back that has a lot of speed, and the thing that I like the most is the competitiveness that he runs with. Here you're going to see the speed. I mean, he gets out in the open field against Tennessee, and good luck catching him. And that's for a guy that's well over 200 pounds. Last week, though, they really relied on the run game. 31 carries, 133 yards. He ran physical, and Wes, I think that if you ask Pat Narduzzi, this is the mentality. This is the intensity that he wants on offense to play with.
Well, we've seen, kind of as you allude to, 3 different styles of fighting for Pittsburgh so far. But, Taylor, they won't have all their weapons at their disposal today against the Rams.
You're right about that, Wes. I mean, so far this season, the depth of this Pitt team has really been tested, and they will still be without 5 key starters here today, 3 defensively and 2 on the offensive side, most notably defensive end Hava Baldonado and wide receiver Jared Wayne. But like you mentioned, after today, 8 consecutive ACC opponents, so coaches will be managing today with that expectation. And like you said, Wes, if there is any fine-tuning left to do, you want to do it today.
Roddy, the injury situation, had this been a league game, you feel like maybe some of those guys would have been on the field. But this is Rhode Island FCS program in the top 25 of the FCS. They're number 20 this week at 2-1, coming off their opening game in the CAA, a home loss to Delaware, who's in the FCS top 10, by the way. Nonetheless, one more week of rest for some of those guys, and they feel like they'll be full tilt when Jeff Collins and Georgia Tech are here next Saturday.
Yeah, the situation was similar last week. Keaton Slovis probably could have played had they needed him, but they obviously did not.
Pitt won the toss. Rhode Island will touch it first, and there will be no return. So the Rams will start 1st and 10 from their 25-yard line. And there is a 21st century modern day football field to Jim Fleming's team, his 9th season with the Rams, and that is they have some transfers.